Good morning dear students, welcome to the third part of the video for chapter 2. We have already studied in earlier videos about the group of different microorganisms. In this video we will study about the useful and harmful microorganisms. Some of the microorganisms, they can cause diseases in us or spoil the things, so they are called harmful microorganisms. Whereas some microorganisms are used in many different ways and they are useful or friendly microorganisms. You can see that when we keep the milk for some time, it converts into curd. This is done by the bacteria Lactobacillus acidophilus, which grow in the milk, and it produces some acid due to which it is converted to curd, and the curd is more nutritious than milk, so it is a useful process. The second one is the formation of bread. When we take some flour and add some yeast in it and make a dough, then the yeast will grow and it will produce the carbon dioxide, which is trapped inside the dough, and when we bake it, then it will convert into fluffy or spongy bread. Next is formation of alcohol, which is done by the help of yeast or some bacteria, anaerobic bacteria. The yeast or anaerobic bacteria will grow in the fruit or in any carbohydrate rich substance, and it will convert it into alcohol, and this is a very useful product which is commercially used. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol in anaerobic condition is called fermentation. This is brought about by some yeast or anaerobic bacteria. Carbon dioxide is also released in this process. There was a scientist called Alexander Fleming. He was working on some bacteria. You can see a glass circular disc. This is the petri dish in which he was growing the bacteria, but he saw that there was green patches. You can see here green patches. He when observed it was some yeast. So he found that these yeast produce some substances which can kill the bacteria. So we can use this yeast to make the pills, which we call antibiotics, which can help us to fight with the bacterial diseases. Here you can see that the pills made from antibiotics are tested over the bacterial culture of the bacteria, and you can see that the bacteria stop growing around the petri dish where the yeast is present. So another use of the microorganisms is production of antibiotics, which are derived from fungi, and we produce some antibiotics like streptomycin, tetracycline, erythromycin from them, and they are very useful to us. Next use of microorganisms is making of vaccine. Edward Jenner was a scientist who made first vaccine for smallpox by making the virus in very weak form or dead form and then inject it into the body. When these vaccines are injected into the body, our body develops the antibodies which remain in the body, and whenever we are infected later, then these antibodies, they will fight against the bacteria or viruses. The sixth use of microorganisms is nitrogen fixation, that is increasing soil fertility. For this, different bacteria like rhizobium or blue-green algae, some bacteria are free living, they live in the soil, or some are associated with the other plants. So they are called symbiotic bacteria. This we have already studied earlier in this chapter. So this is also a very important use of microorganisms. Next are decomposers. We see that the plants and animals die and they are laying here and there, and they are decaying, and after some time we will see that they are not there, vanished. So where have they gone? Because they have been acted by the decomposers, that are bacteria that are present inside in the soil, and that they act on these plants and animals, dead plants and animals, and they convert their body into smaller, simpler compounds, and they mix it with the soil. So decomposers help to clean the environment. So these are all the useful microorganisms. Now we will study about the harmful microorganisms. The harmful microorganisms are cause harm to us in different ways, like they can spoil our food, they can spoil the leather, they can spoil the clothes, or they can cause diseases in us. The diseases caused by microorganisms are called communicable diseases. They spread by air, water, food, or contact with the diseased person. Now, the organisms which help to spread the disease can be either carrier or vectors. Carriers are the infected organisms capable of transmitting the disease to another organism without showing any clinical signal of the disease. Example in case of HIV, whereas vectors are the organisms which carry the disease from infected person to healthy person. They themselves remain disease free, like mosquitoes, mite, fungi, etc. Microorganisms can cause disease in both plants and animals. In animals, there are many diseases. Chart is there which you can see that they are caused by bacteria. Different diseases are caused by bacteria like tuberculosis, cholera, typhoid. The viral diseases are chickenpox, polio, hepatitis B, and the malaria is caused by protozoa. Now, tuberculosis is transmitted by air, measles is transmitted by air, chickenpox by air or contact, polio by air or water, cholera is spread by water or food, typhoid is spread by water, hepatitis B is spread by infected water, malaria is carried by the mosquito, the carrier, the vector mosquito. How we can prevent us from the diseases? We can take different measure, like we have to clean our surrounding, keep our surrounding clean. We keep ourselves away from the infected person. We drink boiled water and cooked food, and we see that the mosquito and other bugs, they don't spread the disease, they are killed. So by these measures we can prevent the diseases. If we get infected, then we take antibiotics and different medicines for the cure. Beside the animals, the microorganisms also infect the plants, but the microorganisms for plants are different from that of the animals. Some of the plants diseases are citrus canker, which is caused by bacteria and it is transmitted by air. Then rust of wheat, which is caused by fungus and it's spread by air or seeds. Then the yellow vein mosaic of bhindi or okra is caused by a virus and it transmits with the help of insects. The other harmful effect of microorganisms is the spoilage of different substances. This may cause food poisoning. Food poisoning is an illness caused by eating contaminated food. It is not actually serious and most people get better within a few days without treatment. In most cases, the food poisoning, the food is contaminated by bacteria such as Salmonella, Escherichia coli or E. coli, or viruses like norovirus. To prevent our food from getting spoiled, we use different practices like chemical method or by using heat and cold treatment. In chemical method, we can use salt, excess of salt, take out the water from the microorganisms and it prevent it to grow. Sugar, in high concentration of sugar, the microorganisms cannot grow. So in pickle and other preserved food, we use more of salt and sugar. Then in more oil is put, then also the bacteria cannot grow or if we put the vinegar, then also their cells will be killed. So these are the processes by which we can stop the bacteria to grow in the food. These are the food preservation steps. The another step is by heating and cooling the food. Too much heating will help the bacteria to die. Like we heat the milk and cool it immediately. This process is called pasteurization. Whatever milk we are buying from the market is pasteurized, and then it comes to us. That's why it remain unaffected for a long time and preserved. A very good of microorganisms that we have seen is nitrogen fixation. This I have already discussed earlier in this chapter, but it is very important. So we have to make this diagram of nitrogen cycle. It is very important. We know that nitrogen is present in form of nitrogen gas in the atmosphere, and the plants cannot take nitrogen in form of gas. So it should be converted into soluble nitrogen to be taken by the plant. This process of conversion of atmospheric nitrogen gas into nitrogen compound which are soluble is called nitrogen fixation. When the plants and animals will die, then there are microorganisms which will convert the nitrogen present in the body of plants and animals in form of protein. Okay, and they are converted into smaller compounds, and further they are converted into gas, and it goes into the atmosphere. This process is called denitrification, and the whole process cycle of this nitrogen in the atmosphere and soil and animals and plants and back to the atmosphere, this is called nitrogen cycle. So like this way we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you dear students.